Good morning, fellow traders. Bubblehead here, and it's time for the Good Morning Market Prep for Thursday, November 21st, 2019. And today's presentation, of course, is brought to you by Positive Trends Research. Before we get started here, everything is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. All right, let's take a look at the market and see how things are going so far. So basically, we are working our way up, right? We had a green hammer last month, and so that's bullish, right? And we're seeing some follow through this month, right? As we hit all-time highs this month. In fact, we hit all-time highs this week, but we came off of it a little bit as we were at the upper Bollinger Band on the weekly chart, and we're now in a spinning top off the weekly. Okay, we can see here that we are following this trend, right? The trend is bullish until proven otherwise, and so it's trying to prove otherwise right now. But it's the market is very complex, right? It doesn't just say like, hey, I'm going down, so let's make it easy and everybody jump in and let's go short, right? So it starts to show weakness, right? And then a lot of folks are like, oh, it's showing weakness. Let me get puts because we're overextended, right? The RSI is overbought. We're at all-time highs. Let me get a bunch of puts. And then the next day it gaps up, right? And so we see that a lot, with before the down moves, right? When we check our trend lines right here, we have this down move right here, and then we gap up the next day. Right, so this is pretty interesting too, as we had an upward trend line here, so we gapped up to that trend line, and then we flushed down. But it likes to force out the weaker hands. It just does, right? Because there are market makers, there is manipulation, right? So they want to make sure that they grab as much as they can before the market actually moves. Now, do they completely control the market? No, I mean the market's going to do what the market's going to do. If there's more selling pressure than buying pressure, the market's going to move, right? So. But either way, we pay attention to price, we pay attention to levels. So what did it do yesterday, right? Yesterday, it filled a gap, right? It filled an open gap and a closing gap yesterday. It came up off of it. So you're kind of very standard price action. And if we push to all-time highs again soon, then it'll just simply shift the trend line over like this, right? And then it'll be like it never even happened, right? So so right now it's showing the first weakness in the armor, right? And then we'll see where that goes from there. So let's take a look at the S&P futures. As of last night, well, they originally gapped down at the open last night, and of course, since then, why would futures stay down, right, for too long, right? So just basically the same reasons we were talking about earlier, right? So at this point, we are trending back up this morning. So we can see here on the S&P, we have this trend line right here. So this is important to see if it holds it. Right now, it's kind of doing a little bit of a pennant up here, and we'll see if it can hold these through, these key levels right here. Obviously, yesterday's close was right here, right? So we're only down 2 points below that. So if we can get a nice bullish close above here, right, then we could see another pop to the upside. So just looking very micro level right here, you can see this trend line right here. If we have a little minor pivot close above it, we could break above those levels. So that's what we're seeing this morning. In terms of earnings, we have Macy's on the docket this morning. That could be interesting. Looks like they're kind of moving down a little bit here. And let's see what else we've got going on this morning. We have BJ's Wholesale Club, usually not an easy one to trade, so but it is another retail one that is kind of on the radar. So also on the radar from yesterday on our 30 orb list is going to be Target. It had a great move yesterday, right? We talked about how it put in a hammer at its pre-market box low and gave almost a 10-point move off of that. Today it's going to be on the 30 orb watch list, so we're just going to see how it does. Of course, if it breaks through yesterday's highs, we could get a quick momentum move through there. So that is definitely a scalp technique on a gap up high breakout. So oftentimes we can catch a nice move through that. Another one that's on the list that a lot of folks do chart requests for is Anaplan. That's got that earnings this morning as well. If we just take a look at the daily chart, we can kind of see what it's been up to. Upper shadows here at the cloud, so we'll see if that does anything. In terms of after hours tonight, we have SPLK will be reporting, and so that should be interesting. A little Splunk on that one. And in terms of upgrades and downgrades, not too much. Clack is one that has been pretty heavily talked about here. So downgrade on CLA Corporation. There's some maintains on some of the other ones like Target. GSK GlaxoSmithKline got an upgrade. So in addition to that, global geopolitical type stuff. There is the Senate and the Congress passed this pushed this bill through to the president. Basically sticking up for Hong Kong, so that could cause additional trade tension with China. In addition, the impeachment hearings continue to go on. So keep in mind anything that comes out there that's negative, pretty much against the president, could potentially affect the market. In addition, there's not really too much else going on. I mean, there's Fiat Chrysler FCAU is under pressure from GM. But again, trading the automotive industry is pretty complex. But it got a big move down on that news yesterday, so you can keep an eye on that as well. And then finally this morning at 8:30 a.m. New York time, EST Eastern Standard Time, there's jobless claim numbers, so that may affect things. In addition, the Philadelphia Fed releases its monthly manufacturing survey at the same time, and then existing home sales data is due at 10 o'clock today. So that's pretty much it. Those are the exciting things on the docket today. I hope everybody has a great trading day. We're going to be watching our go-to list and using our techniques this morning, like the 15 orb and some of our other techniques. And I hope you guys find this helpful and have a great trading day today. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you soon.